If you've seen the movie Moneyball, you know two shocking things. One, Brad Pitt does in fact eat Twinkies, yet still is somehow shredded as can be in Fight Club. Secondly, analytics have completely taken over baseball, starting with those Oakland A's teams in the 2000s. Heavy analytics are evident in every pitch thrown these days, specifically with spin rate, which means science. And since I basically failed every science course my entire life, I got a tutor. You might have heard of him. His name is David Dixon. He works 30 feet from me, and we're here to explain why spin rate is so vital, along with Clemson pitcher Jeffrey Gilbert.
I'm a low spin rate guy, but I can hit spots, I can throw different pitches, stuff like that. He's a high spin rate guy. His strikeouts are a lot more, and he's a lot more effective in that manner.
Almost every school and team has a spin rate database where they can go through and dissect every single pitch thrown. Now, a pitch's placement goes beyond that. There's velocity, gravity, and drag. But spin can fight against or with them in something called the Magnus force.
What actually creates this force? Well, it's caused by different pressures around an object based on that spinning air. Take, for example, the old mainstay, the fast pitch. As you pitch it, it rolls off your fingers, naturally embedding a little bit of backspin to that. As such, the Magnus force is going to act upward against gravity, and so that pitch is actually going to stay in the air a little bit longer. The main pitch that you actually see the Magnus force in motion, though, is those curveballs, those sliders. As the Magnus force acts in a direction that's diagonal or almost perpendicular to gravity, and as such, it is going to curve the trajectory of that ball, make it a lot harder to actually hit. This Magnus force is completely dependent on spin. In fact, the more spin that ball has, the higher that Magnus force is going to be, and the more the ball is going to be deflected. This is why spin rates are so important in pitching.
So important, in fact, that guys with higher spin rates are usually more sought after, especially by pro scouts.
So a guy with a high spin rate is usually going to throw harder through a longer duration of time rather than low spin rate. So, I mean, using those numbers can give guys, I mean, if a guy's got a 2,800 fastball spin rate, I mean, which is, in my opinion, is pretty good, or 3,000 curveball spin rate, I mean, he's gonna be a big time looked at guy. At the end of the day, I mean, if my spin rate's unreal, but I can't throw strikes, then it doesn't really work. It's pretty much useless.
Logan Reaver, News 2 Sports, and sometimes science.